Hello everyone, this is Manus here, and today I want to show you how I automatically farm Dragon Raids in King's Raid. And basically I do this through a macro program, but normally people use macro programs to automate mouse clicks. The thing is, I have a macro program that also finds images, which makes this a whole lot easier. I have a program which is called Auto Mouse Clicker by a company or a guy named Mergi. I'll put a link in the description so you can download it there. I'll exit full screen here. Once you download, install, and the program that I'm talking about, you'll see a screen that looks like this, and it looks kind of complicated, but it's really not. What this program does is, for each step here, we'll be inputting an image that it has to look for, and where it needs to look for to find that image. And what it does in the end, it will loop through all of these searches, and in the end, you can build like a small program with that, and it will automate a certain task for you, so it will do that automatically. With, of course, in the end, it will automatically farm all of your Dragon Raids, or maybe even other content in King's Raid, maybe even other mobile games. So, yeah, you can do that without any input from you, and yeah. So I will show you a small little example here, just to show the concept, so you can adapt this to your own needs. I'm not going to show you how to write an entire macro for raids in general, since there's kind of a lot more that goes into it. But first we start here, and in this little drop down we're gonna scroll down and this image search, and we're just gonna add one, and it will prompt you something. Just click OK, and it will be in a list here. Now if we double click on here, there's a couple of more options. If we click the image selector here, then we will have the option to basically draw a square of what image we want to find. Now in this case I'm gonna make a small example of opening the stockade and just going back to the normal overview map that we're in right now. So I'm gonna draw a little image over the stockade button, and it will save that to your disk. And if I go and locate an explorer, you will see that it will save that image there. And there's a bunch more images in here for my raid macro, but yeah, that's what it does. Second of all, you can select a screen area where it will need to find that image. So we will need to select a slightly bigger area. So we'll try and find that image in that area. Now, if it finds that image, we want the macro to click on it. So we're gonna check this box, and let's do a test search. Yeah, and as you can see, it clicked it for us, which means that it worked. Now let's add the second part. So I'm still on image search here. I'm gonna add another one. Okay, and now I'm gonna add the little arrow at the top left here. And once again, I made a little image for that, and I'm gonna the image area there, click on it, and okay. Now if I'm gonna click start here, you will see that the repeat count here is at 1. So we'll loop through these steps just one time and then stop. So each time it press start, we'll do it once and it will stop. Obviously we wanted to do that more often, so we could put it to like 900 times. And we'll loop through these steps 900 times and just keep doing that over and over again. Or if I can actually stop it now. Oh, this is annoying. Okay, there we go. We can also set it to 0, and it will just keep doing that repeatedly until you stop it. I would actually suggest putting your delay a little bit higher, so you can actually interrupt it, so you won't run into the same issue as I had just there. But yeah. So that is really like the basis of how this stuff works. and you can make it as complicated as you want. But yeah, you can see how you can automate certain actions with this. Later on, you can also, like if you click on one of your entries and then write a comment, this is like open the stockade, for example, and then update. It will make a little comment or update the time and timing or the delay before it executes that action. You can do that kind of stuff as well. So there's a couple of things that you need to do. First of all, this macro uses your actual Windows mouse. So if you're running this macro, you cannot use your computer for anything else. That's kind of sucky, but that's just the way it is. So if you do want to use image search, you cannot use, for example, your Nox inbuilt macro tools or whatever. You have to use the Windows mouse. Second of all, just don't make the same mistake as I did. Put your texture quality to a high definition. Because I was running into some issues where, because the textures are low quality, they're being upscaled or something like that. And the image recognition wasn't always finding the same image as I was defining when I was making my macro. I was running into issues. It was not a good time. So put this to high definition. Thirdly, this macro, it's looking at the exact coordinates of your actual screen. It's 3700 for me because we're looking at my second screen right now. But it means that if I move my screen over like this won't work anymore. So put your screen in the same position each time you're using this macro. The reason how I've actually did this is just I put my screen always in full screen. Problem solved. This is a little bit harder if you're not running two screens, since you will need to have a second screen where you can actually set up the macro, but yeah, this is one of the ways to do it. Yeah, so that's about it. So I'll quickly go over the team that I've actually been using to solo Black Dragon raids, Black Dragon 70, to solo that. My win rate is, I think, roughly 50% or so. This is my Roy. This is basically my main damage dealer for him. Second of all, I'm using Klaus just for the, just to use a tank. I think the only other tank I have is Jane, and she's kind of meh on Black Dragon. Using Laios. Oh, here's the Transcendence perks, by the way. Here's Laios, here's Klaus, and here is Roy. And lastly, I'm using Gar with kind of shitty gear, but he kind of works. So yeah, there's that. So that's the team comp I'm using. There's a lot of team comps that kind of work, but obviously you can use this for like BD 60 runs if you want to farm gear for that in solo as well, or you know, farm chapter 7 hell mode automatically and clear your inventory or stuff like that. Anything you want to automate that can be done by using image search, you can use this method for, and quite effectively and quite easily at that as well. So I want to show you my macro that I've actually set up for the Black Dragon raiding, which is over here. This is what it looks like. So I've started commenting my own macros as well, since it was kind of hard lately or later on to find like what step was what and what image was connected to what. So I can advise that to comment your stuff. But this is what it looks like. I will end this video with a little bit of footage of like my macro actually farming BD70 with the team that I was just showing you. Just to show you that this is actually working. What I've also built in is that it clicks the stamina bottle and just adds one stamina bottle each time it runs out. So it uses natural stamina regeneration as well in conjunction to stamina pots. And that it clears my inventory every time it finishes a run. So I can just let it run for like a day and come back to like a full inventory of Black Dragon gear instead of you know, red and purple gears, which I don't really care about. But yeah, So I'm gonna finish off with like a couple of runs of my macro running, and I kind of hope it's understandable. It's not too difficult once you kind of get the hang of it. I'm purposely not showing you how to set up the macro for raiding in general, since like it isn't too hard and it's very powerful also for other things once you get the hang of it. So yeah, this was it. Menace signing out. Good luck.
You shall